Welcome back, my fellow golf ball addicts. I appreciate you being here, and we are doing our continuation of ranking the 100 golf balls that I have tested on this channel. We are now in the 30s, which is really exciting. We get ever closer and closer every few days. We just got done with 49 through 40 last week. And yeah, as I said before, you know, these are all going to be golf balls now that are definitely worth a recommendation. Once you get into the, really, I felt it was top 50. Once you got into the top 50, it was all going to be golf balls that, you know, yeah, they're worth playing. They're worth a shot for sure. They just might have some kind of glaring issue. They might have a weakness. Some of them might just be really ridiculous in value, or they might be just really bad driver numbers, but everything else was phenomenal. So once you get into these, you're going to start to see those weaknesses kind of dissipate a little bit, because as we get closer to one, you know, basically in order to be in the top 10, top 15, top 20, there are no weaknesses. You have to do everything really well to get into that. So we're going to start to see that in these 30s, get a little less and a little less on them showing weaknesses. It's all going to even out and be really good. So I'm excited about the 30s here. As always, if you haven't seen the video showing how I rank these, it's in the description. It's just like 2 or 3 minutes. I just recommend you watch that so you know how I came to these conclusions. So I know you guys are excited. I know you've been waiting. Let's get right into it. Number 39, the Top Flight Gamer. So another top flight golf ball I did not expect would be in the top 40. If you're on your bingo card, the XL distance was actually 42, and I was kind of surprised by that one as well. Top flight most of the time, I mean, they have I think 6 or 7 lines of golf balls, and most of them are pretty garbage, but they, you know, it's the shotgun effect. You spray enough out there, you're going to have something that comes up okay. And that's what the Gamer is. So the Gamer is essentially their 3-piece model. I know that they've talked about getting rid of it. I don't know if they will or not. I hope they continue it, but it's basically their beginner 3-piece golf ball. It has a unique look to it. It has unique dimples to it. But really it kind of fits in that mold where the cut golf ball is, like the cut blue and the cut gray. It's a great way that if you're someone who doesn't really know if you need a 3-piece yet, you've been using a 2-piece, you've been taking the forgiveness, but now you think your game's gotten good enough to where maybe you want to try a 3-piece. This is something you can buy that has really good numbers. It's not that bad. I mean, they're just slightly above average, but they're consistent throughout. You're not going to get a lot of durability with this golf ball. So, I mean, again, it's going to be for that beginner intermediate crowd looking to get into that 3-piece model, because it just doesn't do well on durability. It doesn't hold up. But of course, that value is insane. Most of the time you can get them, you know, 2 dozen for $35 or something like that. Maybe it's 2 for $40 now, but for a 3-piece golf ball, that's a really, really good deal. So that's probably what helped propel it into the 40s, or the 30s, excuse me, was that value marker. But again, it's a good golf ball if you're just looking to get into that market. The cut blue and the cut gray were actually lower on this list, so maybe the Top Flight is the leader when it comes to the intro 3-piece golf ball. Number 38, the Parsons Extreme Golf Ball. So I'm really excited about this one. So when I found out PXG was finally coming out with a golf ball, I'm not really a PXG guy. I don't use their clubs. But I was just excited to see them in there. I know for years they'd wanted to, but they just felt the Pro V1 was too good essentially to try to compete with. But now that, you know, it's 2024, we have all these direct-to-consumer golf balls. More people are buying Vice. More people are getting away from that notion that we're trying to break on this channel, which is, yeah, the Pro V1 is great, but it's not for everyone. You know, average golfers, they don't benefit from it. And so now in 2024, Parsons Extreme Golf essentially said, well, wait a minute, people are buying other stuff now, so maybe we should put our hand in that game. I mean, people love our clubs, they want a golf ball, let's give it to them, and they didn't disappoint. I was really not expecting a lot when it came to their first attempt at a golf ball, but it felt really good. It had a nice spring to it. It came off the club hot. It was fun to hit. It has a really cool design to it. Anyone who loves PXG is going to love that design. It's very simplistic. It feels premium, and the numbers were pretty good, even despite the fact that it's probably meant for a little faster swing speed than mine, but I actually was able to get really good numbers with it, and even with the driver, I got fantastic ball speed numbers. It just wanted to launch a little bit low on me, and I'll tell you what, if it hadn't launched so low on me, it might even be in the 20s. It was that good of a performance. Now, value-wise, not the best. It's 40 a dozen, which is actually pretty good when you consider the fact that most of these name brand tour golf balls like Strixon, Titleist, Callaway, those are more like 45 to 50. So being only 40 a dozen isn't that bad, especially if you buy them in bulk. So, you know, again, there's a lot of room for improvement, but for coming out and having your first golf ball, I was super excited. And here's the thing, if you are a Parsons Extreme Golf fan, try the golf ball. It's really good. You know, and I'll tell this story real quick because, again, it just kind of reiterates what we go through on this channel. But I actually had a group of guys at my work the other day They all had PXG everything. They were all PXG out, PXG bag, PXG clubs, putters, drivers, everything. And I said, you guys like the golf ball as well? And all 4 of them, I kid you not, said, we've tried it, we like it, but we're just afraid not to use the Pro V1. We know the Pro V1's just supposed to be the best, and we've used it for years, and we're afraid of change. That's crazy to me. If you're a PXG guy, try the PXG golf ball. I loved it. It's a great golf ball. Number 37, the Titleist Pro V1 2023. So speak of the devil, there's the Pro V1. So I've actually done 2 Pro V1 models on this list. I did the 2022 model, I believe, and it was way down. It was so firm. I hated it. It was not for my swing speed. It just didn't come off the club well. But I will say they made some improvements for 2023. They made it a little softer, and it does come off the club for average swingers better. I did get some pretty decent numbers with it, some pretty consistent numbers. Where the Pro V1 really falters for the average golfer is it has no forgiveness. You mishit this golf ball, and you are now pitching or chipping up on the green opposed to just being a little bit short. And even though the Pro V1 has an amazing design to it, and it's a classic timeless design, and it has a premium feel, unfortunately, it's still not great in the value department. It's one of the most expensive golf balls you can buy. And again, I feel like a lot of people just buy it because they feel society tells them they have to. But here's the thing. I have to give Titleist some credit. I really like what they did with the Pro V1 for this year. I like that it comes off the club better. I think it fits the average golfer a lot more. And I think now if you have around 100-mile-an-hour swing speed, it really could be perfect for your game if you're someone who's really good scratch golfer, 5 handicap or lower. It can be really good for your game, whereas I feel used to, you had to swing 105, 110 minimum. So I like what they're doing. I think they're on the right track, and now it does get a recommendation from me for certain golfers. Number 36, the Vice Drive. So this is the second Vice golf ball to come into this list, the first one being the Pro Zero, which is the only Vice golf ball I truly hated. The other ones I'll recommend to everybody. The Vice Drive is their 2-piece model, and where it really comes into factor here is it is a little firmer, but it's a great price point. You can get them for $20 a dozen, and if you buy them in bulk, you can end up getting them, I think, down to like 12 or 13 a dozen. It's an amazing deal. It still comes with all Vice's customizable options. I love what Vice has done with the design. Durability-wise, it's just okay, but it does perform pretty well as far as the numbers go. So as far as a 2-piece golf ball, the design and the value probably propel this up a little higher, but it is a good golf ball, and a lot of people really like it. And if you're someone who's kind of coming into golf and you need a 2-piece distance golf ball and you need one a little firmer than the average, let's say you swing 92, 95, maybe even 100, the Vice Drive's a great option there. It's not going to break your bank, and it's actually going to get you consistent performance as well. So the Vice Drive does a lot of things really well, and it's the first Vice golf ball we have that actually I like, and trust me, you'll see a lot more Vice on this list. So good job, Vice. Number 35, the Bridgestone BRX-S. So I am really glad that at least one of the Bridgestone balls made it at somewhere where I can recommend it. Now, Bridgestone does a great job because essentially they have 4 tour golf balls, and they have it for every swing speed. They have 2 for under 105, and they have 2 for over 105, one being more of a distance golf ball, one being more of a spinny golf ball. Now, of course, this is the model that is for under 105 and for players who want additional spin. So with that, I felt that the golf ball was a lot softer. The one for distance is a lot more firmer. That may be why the numbers weren't so great with it. But everything was good here. Really good distances, really good numbers, really good performance. Value is still, it's okay, but you can get them in a pack of 4, usually for a decent deal. And overall, like I said, it was just really good to see a Bridgestone ball in here. Most of them got really low in this list. They were in the 80s, the 90s, 70s. But I like Bridgestone. I like especially what they've done. I like their new design they have with this whole focus ball thing they have, which you'll know more about it this year because when I test them. Yeah, but really good job, Bridgestone. If you're looking for a great tour golf ball that's under 105, that you can possibly, if you're a really good player, scratch golfer, give this one a try. I had really good luck with it. Number 34, the Bridgestone E6. So back-to-back Bridgestone golf balls. Cool, that's awesome. The E6 is really nice because it is a 2-piece softer golf ball, but it does have a firm enough compression to really get up with the medium to fast swingers. A lot of these are too soft and you end up over-compressing them. Not the case here. The E6, I was actually able to get consistent performance throughout, even with the driver, which is where I usually start to over-compress. The golf ball is relatively inexpensive at the price point it is. It's not great by any means as far as the value, but it is there. It's one of the cheaper models you can get, which is awesome. And again, really decent decent durability, and it just does what you're supposed to do. It goes straight. It's very forgiving, and that's awesome for a lot of young golfers. So again, this isn't one that blew me away. It just does a lot of stuff pretty decent, and that's what propelled it here, and that's, hey, sometimes that's all you need. And on another note, where the E6 really shined, it was kind of random, but the E6 really shined with the hybrid numbers. As far as the short iron, I did gain distance. The 7 iron was like, you know, kind of a medium average, and then once I got to the hybrid, it was like one of the highest numbers I'd ever tested, which definitely helped it on the numbers a little bit. Not sure exactly why that one did so great. I mean, because the driver, again, wasn't, I mean, driver was good, but it wasn't that good. So there may be a little bit inconsistent there as far as your distances. You might have to get reused to that, but still, it came off the club really nice. So I like what the E6 did. Number 33, the Snell MTB-X. So this is another golf ball that I'm really surprised got this high, because it's not for my swing speed. But here's the thing. I love Snell. I've always loved Snell on the channel. I love how their golf balls perform. And honestly, it's one of the best of values you can get in the industry, period. You got Dean Snell, a guy who has so much history in the game as far as making golf balls and just being around golf. And now you get that experience with a Tour urethane golf ball for $33 a dozen. You just can't beat it. Now there's two models. There's the MTB Prime and there's the MTB Prime X. The X model is meant for a faster swinger, and that's where we are here. So despite the fact that it's really not meant for my swing speed, the fact that it has such an amazing design, value, consistent performance, and great durability. I know some of you have had issues, but I still haven't, so I don't know, maybe I'm just getting good ones and you guys are getting lemons. I don't know. But even though the numbers took a hit on this one, all that other stuff propelled it high enough to get it in the 30s still, which is awesome. So if you're someone who is a 100-mile-an-hour swinger, you're a good golfer, you're, you know, mid handicap, if you're in the single digits and you want a great performing tour-like golf ball and you don't want to spend a lot of money, I'm not sure there's a better option than the Snell golf balls. That's definitely what I would try first, because if you end up trying those and you like them, I mean, most people do. So, I mean, that's probably where I start a lot of guys. If a lot of guys tell me, hey, I really want a great tour-like golf ball, but I don't want to spend 50 bucks, I just tell them Snell. You know, and most of the time, I'd say probably 4 out of 5 times they come back and they're like, I love the Snell. Like, I'm just going to play it. I don't need to try anything else because it's that good. So you'll see the regular Prime on this list. It hasn't been mentioned yet. Don't want to give anything away, but it hasn't been mentioned yet, so you'll see it a little higher. But yeah, Snell's a phenomenal, and you got to give them a try. And also, their 2-piece golf ball, the Snell Gets Some, has not been mentioned yet either, so just keep that in mind. Number 32, the MaxFly Tour X. So I didn't actually love the MaxFly regular Tour that much. I just didn't have as good as numbers with it. It was a little lower on this list. But the actual X model performed really, really well. It has a lot more spring to it. It seems to come off the club a lot hotter. And that's what I really had a lot of success with. So even though the X model, the short irons took a pretty big hit here, which was common with X model, they just don't compress as well with an X golf ball usually. But once I got to the 7 iron, it was a huge performer, 111.3 ball speed. I gained about 4 to 5 mile an hour ball speed with this ball on the 7 iron, which was phenomenal. And then once you get into the hybrid as well, that was phenomenal. 119.6, gained like 3 mile an hour. So this golf ball really sprung off the club once I got into the more woods and things like that. Driver performance did take a small hit though, because it did want to launch a little low, but I don't hold it against it. So the X model performs really, really well. And of course that value, although it isn't what it used to be, is still phenomenal. I mean, 2 for $70 as far as, you know, a tour, imitation value tour golf ball is pretty good. I just hope they don't increase the price again. Number 31, the TaylorMade Tour Response. So the TaylorMade Tour Response is actually my favorite TaylorMade golf ball. The TP5, although it is awesome, you really have to be a pro to hit it well. You have to be able to swing the club so well and compress it so perfect in order to get it to do what you want it to do. This one is not the case. It's a lot more forgiving. It springs off the club really well. I got great numbers across the board with it. And what I also love is it has an amazing design as far as that stripe model goes. It's one of the best, probably the best, honestly, as far as lining up your golf ball. I've helped a lot of golfers with it and told them to use it and putt, and like when you're practicing with it, and it's really made a difference because you can really tell if your putt's not being hit correctly. You'll immediately know with that golf ball. That stripe really helps with it. So it's awesome for practice. It's awesome for playing with. Even if you don't like the stripe model, just the regular model is awesome as well. It just really performs and it does everything it's supposed to. Now, granted, the value wasn't the best. It probably knocked it down just a tad, but not much. I mean, still at $42, it's definitely a better deal than some others. But as far as value tour golf balls go, there are better options. But still, if you're a TaylorMade fan and you want a great golf ball, this is probably the one I'd recommend before the TP5 or anything else. Number 30, the Srixon Z-Star. So I love the Srixon golf balls. They were one of the first I tested on the channel. Now granted, the ones I tested were pretty decently old. I know that there's been some improvements. I think these are the 2020 models, I'll just be honest with you. But I've always really liked these a lot. I got great performance numbers with them. They really spring off the club. They have an amazing like bouncy ball feel. It just really shoots off the club. And actually, I haven't even mentioned the other one yet, the XV or the 15, whatever you want to talk about. That one's not even on the list yet, so you'll see that one soon. But as far as the regular Z-Star, it's an amazing golf ball. It performs really well. I know there have been some durability issues and consistency issues in the past, but I haven't actually experienced those. But it also has a pretty decent value because it comes in at $45 a dozen. But the other thing is they always run buy two, get one free at least a couple times a year. And when that deal comes up, honestly, you can't beat it. It's one of the best deals as far as a main brand AAA tour golf ball. You're not going to find much better than that. I mean, Wilson runs it as well, but still, buy two, get one free on that's awesome. I do wish they'd improve the design a little bit. You know, the logo is a little, it is what it is. It's outdated, the design. It doesn't look and feel as premium as other ones. I definitely don't like the alignment tools on them. I do like it when they come out with the Divide version, but I wish they would come out with just regular Divide versions of the Srixon Z-Star. So hopefully those will come. So again, these are all golf balls that are great in their own ways. I definitely recommend them one way or another, some more than others, but we are now officially to the point where, you know, these golf balls are all going to be great golf balls. Now that we're in the top 30, everything mentioned from here on out is going to be, you know, really good performing golf balls that are worth a shot, you know, depending on your game. So as always, keep watching to keep saving and keep learning. And in a few days, we will have 29 through 20. Now, if you would like to guess what the #1 golf ball is going to be, you get one guess. Get it in the comments there. I'm going to see how many people get it right because I don't think a lot of people will. But go ahead and give it a shot. One guess in the comments below. Tell me what you think is the #1 golf ball, or also, just tell me your favorite golf ball. Tell me the one that you hope is #1. Just that way, you know, hey, you play it. Maybe you saw a review of mine. Maybe you've just been playing it for a long time. Maybe it hasn't been mentioned yet. You never know. Until next time.